Howdy do, fellow rock lovers. I'm mighty glad I got you, because it's nice to have other people and to know that other people are interested in the same things you are, and I love rocks. And so, I'm glad you do too. Here we have rock identification example number, what is it, 5? I can't remember, but let's do it. If you like this, please subscribe. Thank you a million times to all my wonderful subscribers. So here we go, the next rock. Okay, rock buds, let's have a look at this next rock. Pretty interesting rock. And the first thing I notice, maybe you'll notice this too, is that all those mineral hunks in there are quartz. Quartz is usually clear or gray in a rock, and some of these hunks, a lot of them are whitish. So why do I think they're quartz and not feldspar? Here's what feldspar usually looks like in a rock. It's really white, and you can easily tell the difference between this and the quartz in our specimen rock. So I think guys will all agree that this is quartz hunks. The next thing I notice is that the quartz hunks are embedded in a dark, much finer matrix of something, and that these quartz hunks are not angular on their edges. They're more rounded on their edges. Hope you guys can see that and agree with that too. It's important to distinguish between rounded hunks of quartz and angular hunks of quartz or whatever, because this rock in the inset is called breccia. It's a volcanic rock, and it occurs when a stratovolcano blows up and hunks of rock embedded in a finer matrix come out. But the hunks of rocks are always going to be angular with breccia, so this is not breccia. And another clue for us is that, to my knowledge, there is no breccia in the eastern United States, since it's something that happens with active volcanoes. And I found this rock in the eastern United States. And rock buds, I have a confession to make. I don't know where I found this rock. I know I found it in the eastern United States, but in what geologic province, I don't know. So in this case, we're not going to be able to use rock D or with the geologic province to help us identify this rock. But that's a good thing, because many times you'll be presented with a rock that someone gives you and they don't know where it came from. So let's just look at the rock itself and figure it out. So let's try to figure out if this is an igneous rock, a sedimentary rock, or a metamorphic rock. Well, I know it's not granite, which is an igneous rock, or granite gneiss, because those two rocks have at least 2, probably 3, and often 4 different mineral types, and we only have the one quartz and the matrix. And you don't usually see the matrix, this kind of small grain matrix with granite and granite gneiss. Is it the metamorphic rock called schist? No, it doesn't look anything like schist. Schist is full of flattened muscovite mica. Also, you know, it has no metamorphic banding, so I don't think this is an igneous or a metamorphic rock. That leaves what? Right, some kind of sedimentary or metasedimentary rock. Do you guys agree with that? And what is a metasedimentary rock? It's a sedimentary rock that is on its way to being a metamorphic rock, but it's not there yet, and you can still see its sedimentary structure. Okay, rock buds, so we know we've got a sedimentary or metasedimentary rock, more than likely, and it's composed of hunks of kind of rounded quartz in a finer matrix of something. Mud, siltstone, something like that. Shale. Now what? So I just started thumbing around in the Rocks of Georgia book, which has good rock photos that cover most of the eastern United States, and I found this rock, which is called metadacite. Metadacite is metamorphosed dacite lava, which is a very felsic lava that belches out of stratovolcanoes, and this came mostly from the Carolina terrain. And I notice here that in the dacite example, that the there are feldspar hunks and quartz hunks, and that the hunks, especially the feldspar, is very angular. I'm pretty sure our rock is not metadacite. So I kept flipping through the Rocks of Georgia book, and I found this rock, which is called turbidite sandstone. And it's a metasedimentary rock that comes from the western Blue Ridge. And here I noticed that the quartz has a bluish tinge to it. And we have both bluish gray quartz and whitish feldspar hunks. And they're sort of angular on the edges instead of rounded. So I'm pretty sure it's not turbidite sandstone. I think this turbidite sandstone is really pretty, and it formed when the supercontinent Rodinia was breaking apart between 750 and 550 million years ago. And this material was washed out from ancient Precambrian basement rock and very quickly deposited into deep rift basins. And the fact that feldspar is present in these rocks and that it is angular tells us that this material did not spend very much time in a stream getting eroded and rounded. Instead, it was washed very quickly into the deep rift basin. And so, Rock Buds, we're learning something. Hey, what the heck are we learning? We are learning that feldspar, when it gets into a stream, if it stays in there very long, it's going to be rounded, and eventually it will be eroded away because feldspar is more subject to erosion and weathering than is quartz. So if material has stayed in a stream for a long time, the only thing that's going to be left is quartz hunks, and they are going to be rounded. Isn't that kind of a smoking gun as far as our mystery rock goes? Let's review what we know about our rock. It has virtually only quartz hunks in it, and those quartz hunks are pretty rounded in shape. The quartz hunks are embedded in a finer matrix. Because the quartz hunks are fairly rounded and there's no feldspar, then we can deduce that this rock spent a lot of time in a stream, especially since we know it's not a volcanic rock like metadacite or breccia. So I went back to the Rocks of Georgia book pictures, and I found this rock, which is Cumberland Plateau conglomerate. It tells us that this rock came from the bottom of a stream bed where the heavier pebbles sank to the bottom, and they spent a long time rolling down the stream and got very rounded. Also, it looks like to me that this conglomerate contains only hunks of quartz and no feldspar, just like our rock. So, Rock Buds, I'm going to call this rock a river conglomerate. I'm going to say it's a sedimentary rock, not likely a metasedimentary rock, and that means it could have come from the Cumberland Plateau or the Valley and Ridge Province, because that is where we find mostly sedimentary rocks. And here are some pictures of river conglomerate rocks for you to compare to. My second choice for this rock would be a turbidite sandstone rock. If it is turbidite sandstone, then that means it came from the western Blue Ridge geologic province, because that is where all the Rodinia rift grabens are located. Turbidite sandstone does not have to have blue quartz, and it doesn't have to have feldspar, although it usually does have feldspar, and quite often it does have the blue quartz. Okay, Rock Buds, I think we nailed this rock, but there is an element of uncertainty there, and that shows you the value of knowing where your rock came from. If we knew for sure the rock came from the western Blue Ridge province, we would more than likely call it turbidite sandstone instead of the river conglomerate. So anyway, that's our rock for today. This is your Rock Papa saying, happy rock hunting. More to come.